The Russians have gathered another cloud of darkness from Kursk and thrown it at Pokrovsk. The tension level is skyrocketing. A barrage of occupation lightning strikes. Our forces have found an effective countermeasure. These operations make your heart stop. Exquisite work by the armed forces of Ukraine. We'll tell you what's happening right now on the front line, where the occupiers are clinging on with all their might, in the next segment.
An FPV drone flew quickly past the houses on a heading of 210. Didn't have time to shoot back. There's more.
The Russians from the Kursk region have brought in a specialized unit called Rubicon. These are essentially Russian unmanned systems forces that operate deep behind our lines, particularly by using advanced drones. And right now we can't go out to the position because these Russian pilots have gone hunting. Several FPV drones have flown very far from the front line, right into, specifically in the direction of Dobropilya.
There's an FPV drone coming from Rudenki heading our way. Tell Sanya to stand by with a rifle.
This Rubicon disrupted our troops' logistics in Kurshina. Now they're doing the same thing in Pokrovsk. Even though we're in an armored Humvee, there are already marks from enemy drone strikes on it.
It hit from the left side and damaged the wheel on the right.
We finally set off. The drone didn't notice us and flew on. We need to reach the soldiers while there's still a corridor in the temporarily clear sky. The heavy American Humvee and its driver are giving it their all, not slowing down even on the turns. And here the commander is trying to save 3 of our infantrymen from an enemy FPV drone. A Russian drone has already dropped munitions on our position. It caught fire. The battalion commander is urgently moving the soldiers to a backup position.
Come on. Down, straight down, go down. To the dry tree over there. To the dry one, yeah. They're going the right way.
The battalion commander gives instructions to the pilot who is guiding the soldiers via radio. Everyone is nervous because they're responsible for those 3 lives on the screen.
Tell them there's a corpse lying there. There's a dead body over there. Tell them to jump in there faster.
More to the left.
Tell them more to the left. They need to go now, not when they calm down. If they wait until they calm down, it'll be too late. You can see them over there.
The soldiers have a few minutes to get into cover, because just like our pilot can see them, so can the Russian one, and the enemy will open fire.
Come on. Tell them to jump in faster already. Damn, just tell them to get in as fast as possible. Get in, they can rest once they're inside.
Yes, copy. They've started.
The fighters are finally moving into position. Now it will be harder for the Russian drone to get them. The entire 25 airborne unit breathes a sigh of relief.
Tell him to keep a low profile so he doesn't spot them. Let him drop it further over there. Right now, this is probably our most important resource. No matter how it sounds that it's a resource, but that's exactly what it is. It's not that they're working for us, we're working for the soldiers. So we have to do everything possible to make sure the enemy doesn't get to them. And if they do get close, then we must destroy them with every means available to the battalion.
All these events are taking place south of Pokrovsk. For a year now, the soldiers of the 25 have been holding the defense there and have not let the enemy into the city. This battalion also pushed the occupiers out of the village of Kotlin, which opened up advantageous positions for us.
The unit responsible for this sector is already a bit worn out, and as for the enemy, well, they're not fools either. They understand that it's no longer reasonable to just charge straight ahead. Heavy losses, simple math, they counted how much they lost, and now they're planning moving in close contact.
Just in May, paratroopers destroyed 300 occupiers near Pokrovsk. So the Russians decided not to launch frontal infantry assaults, but instead to use the Kursk tactic drone strikes deep into the territory to disrupt logistics and take control of the roads leading to our positions. And for now, they have more than enough of these drones. Yulia Krienko, Volodymyr Parakhonsky, Ole Mustovi, TSN, 1+1, Marathon, United News.
Ukraine did it. They hit so hard that smoke started coming out of Putin's ears. The missile has already struck a prime target of Putin's army. The force of the strike made even the Kremlin scream. Such roasting of the occupiers will now become a regular occurrence. The new weapon is already in the hands of the armed forces of Ukraine. The whole world is applauding it. What is known about the deadly power that will mow down the occupiers both at the front and in the rear? More on this in just a moment.
At a time when Russian aggression does not cease, Ukrainian long-range weaponry becomes not only a symbol of strength, but also a real guarantee of security.
The missile program, our missile program, is showing good progress. And although this is a difficult task, gradually we are getting closer to being able to use our own missiles and not just rely on missiles supplied by our partners.
In 2025, there was a breakthrough in the production of Ukrainian missiles. The greatest anticipation was around the production of a domestic ballistic missile, and now it has happened.
I believe that the curator was chosen successfully. And the fact that the program is separated from other programs, that each missile system and missile type has its own curator and its own manager, this is a positive development. As far as I know, tests took place in mid-May, which are being regarded as extremely successful. The missile covered almost 300 kilometers and destroyed a Russian command post. And it is very important that this was a combat use.
A Ukrainian-made ballistic missile traveled almost 300 kilometers and destroyed a Russian command post.
The warhead of this missile weighs over 400 kilograms. And that's a very powerful arsenal. For comparison, the new American ballistic missile has a warhead of only 91 kilograms. It's clear that this will be a powerful weapon for us. I hope that we will keep moving forward. The main thing is to scale up quickly and very logically.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly stated that the Ukrainian ballistic missile is already on its way.
He also instructed that separate funding be allocated for our Ukrainian ballistic program to speed up missile production.
One version is that the armed forces of Ukraine have likely been attacking enemy targets with ballistic missiles for about a year now. After all, many experts and analysts have from time to time been unable to identify the weapon used to destroy an enemy target.
The first time successful results were announced was by the president, I think sometime in July or August of last year, and since then there have been several occasions when strikes on Russia. Well, there is a suggestion that Ukrainian ballistic missiles were involved in these strikes on Russia.
A domestically produced ballistic missile is truly a breakthrough for the Ukrainian defense industry.
Ukraine had been working on such projects even before the war began, and some of these projects were already at a stage of near completion, that is, at the prototype level, ready to be adopted into service. Ukraine needs to develop its own missile program. And in this missile program, which essentially happened in 2023, all the projects that were in a more or less prepared or finished state were revived and used in order to focus on the development of Ukraine's own ballistic missile.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Some have speculated that this refers to the Ukrainian ballistic missile system Sapsan, which the president of Ukraine mentioned last year.
Nowhere is it stated what kind of missile this is, what it will be called, or its exact specifications. In fact, it's more likely that the internal components have been modernized rather than the external appearance. And now all the necessary organizational and management structures have been established to actively move this project forward.
After successful testing, the Ukrainian ballistic missile tactical system is to be produced in series.
The optimal option would be a missile with a range of up to 700, well, around 700 kilometers. And it should have a warhead with a good guidance system, ensuring high missile accuracy with at least a 200 kilogram payload. Well, if it's more, then of course that's even better.
This would allow us to deliver serious strikes against the entire military-industrial complex of the enemy.
A missile with a range of 300 kilometers and a 400 kilogram warhead, as stated in the specifications for this missile, will allow us to destroy targets at an operational and tactical operational depth. This is also very good because, in fact, all command and control, all military logistics and all depots are located in this zone.
Ukraine has already made attempts to develop a ballistic missile over the past 30 years. At that time, domestic capabilities were limited by the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty.
Everyone remembers when Oreshnik appeared, we learned that there was a treaty on intermediate range and shorter range missiles. What was it about? It was about the fact that the countries, well, the parties to this treaty are Russia and the United States, do not engage in the development of intermediate range missiles, and an intermediate range missile, meaning ballistic missiles, is from 500 to 5,500 kilometers. And when Trump, while he was president, first learned from intelligence that the Russians were developing the RS-26 missile with a range of less than 5,500 kilometers, he withdrew from this treaty. And then Russia also withdrew from this treaty.
A country undertakes the obligation to produce missiles with a range of no more than 500 kilometers, but only for domestic use.
If they produce them for export, then the range must not exceed 300 kilometers. So I think that the Ukrainian development is a ballistic missile. Right now it is technically within export restrictions, but I'm almost certain that its range will be increased to 500 kilometers.
The Ukrainian defense industrial complex is making successful progress in developing weaponry.
I think it will be developed towards a 500-kilometer range. Perhaps the warhead might be slightly reduced, but I think that most likely, even without reducing the warhead.
The missile program is a strategic security factor for Ukraine. It is a breakthrough and a trump card for a country defending itself against Putin and his military machine. The development and production of Ukrainian missiles will allow us to independently resolve the issue of destroying Russia's military capabilities in its aggressive war against